Namaskar. Welcome to this session. Uh, we are dealing with the Heyahetu, the cause of sorrow, which is really of the class of avoidable. Anagata Duhkham, the Duhkham that is Prapanchika Duhkham, Sansarika Duhkham, Parinamatapa Sanskara Duhkham, Adibhautik, Adidaivik, Adhyatmik Duhkham, the Duhkham of a philosopher, not the Duhkham of you and me. We find solutions to our sorrows in our empirical process and temporal processes. Like intelligent person suffers more or less, and stupid person suffers more. So intelligent person can find a solution to the sufferings. But the question is that we are not dealing with that sorrow. Primordial cause, the first cause of sorrow. In our business activity of life, we don't look at the root cause of everything. We just try to identify the immediate cause behind an effect which is of the nature of pain, and we just want to take measure against that which is immediate cause. And this is called worldliness. This is called Prapancha. This is called mundanity. And common man, worldly man, occupied in the business activity of life cannot be going deeper into investigation of the first cause of any sorrow. So in our mundanity, we look at the immediate cause of our sorrow and we try to take measure. This is called mundanity. This is called Prapancha. So these are one of the connotations. This is one of the dimensions of what is called mundanity by we people, or what is called as Prapancha and Samsara also. Because we are occupied in our economic activity of life, our professional activity of life, or mundane activity of life. So therefore, we don't find the need to go after the cause of 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 the sorrow, but it's just go to the cause of the sorrow. So this is how we have to understand the samsaram and prapancham, which we saw that Vijnani Bhikshu mentioned that the heyam is samsaram, and the samsaram is in this sense of the term and not in the sense of the term that we take to mean that family life, having a family, making a family. We think that is the samsara, to be in a marital status. That is not the meaning of samsara. That is not only the meaning of samsara, that is one of the meanings of samsara. And that is quite superfluous meaning, that to be in a marital status. Nor prapancha. The prapancha is also taken the same way, having a family life, needing to take care of parents and children and the son-in-laws and daughter-in-laws, grandparents to grandchildren, to great-grandparents to great-grandchildren. So this is what is the idea of common man about prapancha and samsara. But in philosophy there is a different connotation. Particularly for philosophers and for vivekis, because the viveki is not just going to be taking measure against the cause of sorrow. Because the cause of the sorrow will always, you will find a cause. So therefore there will be cause for a cause, or cause cause for a cause, or cause of cause of cause of cause for a cause. So now, how far are you going to go to that? It's almost ad infinitum, because there is always a cause to effect, and there is always a cause of the cause. The cause is always effect of something. What you take as a cause is always effect of something, and that cause is again effect of something. That cause is again effect of something. So the chain of cause and effect, cause and effect, and cause and effect is almost going to extend endlessly. So that is not the process to go about every time. In your scientific process, you will perhaps go to some extent that this is the effect and this is the cause of it, and this cause is effect of this, and this is the cause of that effect. Maybe you will go 3, 4, 5 steps in physics, in chemistry, in sciences, in scientific approach, but you really can't be reaching the source cause. And now here, the Viveki, he is going to really spell out, and who has already spelled out, essential dukkha. So I have often referred to that there is no reference to our dukkha here. Because for our dukkha, materialistic person will say that money will solve all problems, the dearth of money is creating all problems. So the very stark materialist will look at the money as a source to which one must embrace, and so the most of the problems will go away. But we know how that's a very shallow outlook, that money as the cause of removing all sorrows, or money as a cause of all sorrows, absence of money as all cause of all sorrows, or dearth of money is cause of all sorrows. No doubt dearth of money is a problem. But where it is problem, how much is it problem? And therefore that's the materialist's view. And therefore many of the materialistic people look at money for solution for all their problems. They believe that all problems can be vanquished with the help of money. But we know how hollow is that conclusion. It is meaningless conclusion. The point is here, the philosophers are not going in the chain that this is the cause of this, and this cause is the effect of that cause, and that cause is effect of that cause, etc. So in philosophy, with that pedestal on which they have the wisdom structure, it is able to cite at the very first cause. And this cause is launched at the point of creation. Creation in the sense, we have this concept of cyclic creation and not linear creation. So we know that there is Pralaya and Sarga. It's cyclic process, Sarga and Pralaya, Sarga and Pralaya, Sarga and Pralaya. A Kalpa comprises of 432 crores of years, that is 4.32 billion years of creation phase, and 4.32 billion years of deluge phase. And this cyclically goes on and on and on. So when it is said that it is launched at the point of creation, it exists before the creation as well, but it is there in the deluge phase, nominal phase, it doesn't get actualized. So what is really happening on the point of creation, when the deluge is revoked and there is onset of Sarga, creation phase, the unfoldment of cosmic process commences. The cosmological unfoldment commences at the point of Sarga Arambha. And what is found there is this conjunction of drashta and drushya. So that is what is being mentioned in the sutra. Drashtru drushyayoho sanyogaha heyahetu. So there is that cause, that conjunction which is appearing at the point of sarga, at the point of creation, is the cause. The conjunction has been there even during deluge and all those cyclic phases which were before, but the conjunction is not really felt during deluge. Like we do not have problem of our identity while we are fast asleep. That doesn't mean that we have lost our identities. But it appears the moment we come to awakeful state of consciousness, then our identity appears. That doesn't mean that it was in absence during our state of sleep. It was very much there. But the problem it could not create. The advantage or disadvantage, the loss or gain, it could not create. But the moment awakeful state came up, then we got the advantage and disadvantage of our identity. The loss and gain appeared only when awakeful state came up. Similarly, this conjunction has been there from anadikala, from time without beginning, absolutely precisely without time, without beginning, anadi. But then it creates problem, or it creates the effects, consequences, only when the Sarga Avastha comes up. Like effects of our identities are only appearing when we come to awakeful state and not while we are in a dormant state or dreamless state. So it doesn't become non-existent. It is very much there, but cannot really have a sprout by way of giving advantages and disadvantages. It only happens when we come to awakeful state. Similarly, in Sarga Avastha, the union which has been there from time without beginning starts creating the effects. And then there is a launch of cause and effect, cause and effect, cause and effect, cause and effect relationship. The chain of cause and effect commences from that point. And that is why this drashtru drushya sanyoga is undifferentially there in Pralaya, but then it gets the differentiated condition in Sarga. So that it is called as Labdhacaitanya. This entity comes up. And we have seen during our initial part of Yoga Sutras, Vritti Sarupyam Itaradra, and then Tradadrashtu Sarupe Avasthanam. And there we came across a third, an entity coming up between Purusha and Prakriti, or Purusha and Sattva, between Purusha and Buddhi-sattva. It appears, which is not an entity by itself, but it comes into being, and that is called the Maya, delusion. That's Labdhacaitanya, Bhasamana Chaitanya. And the moment Bhasamana Chaitanya appears, then we start getting our identity. The Avidya starts blooming and blossoming, and the Klesha Parva opens out. So despite the fact that Prakriti Purusha Samyoga was there even in deluge, only in Sarga Avastha it becomes Purusha Buddhi sattva, their conjunction, drashta and drishya conjunction, Purusha Tattva and Buddhi-sattva conjunction, and by their conjunction comes this third entity which really doesn't exist in ontology, in metaphysics, but that is the one which is the cause of all delusion that we have in the form of existence in some form called Nama Rupa. So we start getting class, creed, race, gender, age, status, condition, etc. And all this actually happens to Labdhacaitanya, the Bhasamana Chaitanya, the seemingly conscious principle, which the Buddhi-sattva becomes. And therefore, the whole Mayika Vyapara, the whole spell of Maya is cast on us, the Purusha. And then we saw that with the illustrations that we took from Kathopanishad, such as Agnir Yathaiko Bhuvanam Pravishto Rupam Rupam Pratirupo Babhuva Ekas Tatha Sarva Bhutantaratma Rupam Rupam Pratirupo Vaishya Vayur Yathaiko Bhuvanam Pravishto Rupam Rupam Pratirupo Babhuva Ekas Tatha Sarva Bhutantaratma Rupam Rupam Pratirupo Vaishya. This is the Kathashruti, Kathopanishad 2.2.9 and 10. Now, in Vedanta, this has been argued as a description of the Antaryami and not the finite soul. It is actually mentioning the infinite Purusha, the soul, the Antaryami, the Parama Purusha. But then we have brought in discussion here, it is because although this Kathashruti is with reference to Paramatma, and there is no doubt about it, there is no second opinion about it. But then this Purusha, the finite soul, is also Labdhacaitanya, and then it takes form of Nama Rupam, of that finite mortal. It seems to be in the form, the Purusha, metaphysical Purusha, seems to be in the form of Labdhacaitanya. Seemingly conscious principle, if it is man, Purusha seems to be man, Atma seems to be man. If Labdhacaitanya is woman, Atma also seems to be woman. While Atma doesn't have any gender, Atma doesn't have any caste, class, creed, gender, status, stature. As a matter of fact, Atma doesn't have even status in biological world, such as soul of human being and soul of insect and worm and animal and cattle and birds and beasts. The Atma is one. Metaphysically, the Atma is identical and one and the same Atma, be that a bed bug that you want to crush it the moment you see it, or mosquito that you want to kill it or drive away, or human being, maybe which is most beloved human being to you. The Atma really doesn't change, which gives the status of sentiency, the Chaitanyam, it doesn't really change. So Atma is one and the same in all creatures, but the Nama Rupa changes. That's what we say, this is elephant, this is lion, this is serpent, this is crocodile, and this is human being, and this is a mosquito, and that's a bug, and this is an insect, and that's a plant. That's a tree. But the Atma Chaitanyam doesn't change. But Bhasamana Chaitanya seems to be changing. It takes the form and nama of that manifestation. And this is the Prapancham. I think I am man, the Prapancha starts. I think I am young and old and man and oriental or occidental, eastern or western. The mundanity starts. It is mundanity. As long as I don't have all that, which is the state of deep sleep, that in deep sleep you are not Indian, American, Australian, Japanese, Chinese, African, but you are just a being. Neither are you man or woman, young or old or strong or weak or stupid or intelligent. It all appears, all these things appear when you come to awakeful state. And then in awakeful state you start deeming yourself as to what you are not. You believe that you are Indian, you believe that you are Australian, you believe that you are European, you believe that you are American, you believe that you are African. You believe that you are man, you believe that you are woman, you believe that you are strong or weak, you believe that you are intelligent or stupid. That is the Prapancha, that's the mundanity. So it's not, mundanity is not, or the Prapancha and samsara is not marital status, having a family, having one's own people, like my parents, my children, my grandparents, my grandchildren, my uncles and my aunties and my nephews and nieces, etc. So, that is why it is, in this respect, it is identical condition to that which is maintained in Kathopanishad. The Paramatma appears in Nama Rupa like air gets into balloon, round balloon, we think it is round. If it is oval shaped, we say it is oval shaped. If it is of any other shape, we think it is, air is of that shape. Air is not of that shape. The container of air is having a shape and the contained air takes the shape. In one sense, seems to be taking that shape. Otherwise, it doesn't have its own shape. So that's how this Paramatma is, that he is Sarvantaratma, Sarvabhutantaratma, therefore seems to be of those sizes and those shapes and those dimensions. But the same thing is also happening to here, to the finite self, to the individual self. It is because of the Labdhacaitanya, and we can see the Maya grip, the Maya gravity, Maya influence, which is inescapable. So, therefore, that's how Vedantis are answered, because they had this question that you are referring to Kathoshruti, Kathopanishad, and this is referring to Paramatma, and you are drawing that to Jivatma. So that's how they are answered. The point is, the Prapancham and Samsaram is the consequence of samyoga of drashta and drushya, which is giving room for Labdhacaitanyam, Bhasamana Chaitanyam, the I-ness, the me-ness. And once that I-ness and me-ness appears, then you have all these attachments coming to you. These are all parasites: caste, class, creed, gender, status, stature, etc., etc. So, then the question comes, if this samyoga is a cause of sorrow, the samyoga is not created by you and me. This conjunction cannot be created by you and me. We are not responsible for this first cause. Then why are we suffering from this cause which is not caused by us? So, is it not injustice in the cosmological process and cosmos and the master of the universe that he makes us suffer, for which the cause is there and the cause is not caused by us? So, the question comes whether this cause that is of the nature of conjunction is a sakaran or nishkaran. So, is it with purpose or without purpose? So, it is not accidental, it is not sahaja, it is not nishprayojaka. There is hetutvam. There is purpose. Hetutvam means also purpose. So, drashtru drushyoho sanyogo heyahetuh. There is a purpose. And therefore, there is sakaranatva. It is not a natural, accidental phenomenon out of a natural happening of cosmological unfoldment or cosmological creation. Because we are not responsible for the creation which has taken place, say at the point of Big Bang. We are not responsible for that bang, which became a Big Bang, and from that all those things came up, and then finally we have come out of it. How are we responsible for that? So, the point is, therefore, we might think that all this is accidental, universe things are accidental. So, this is point of view of some of the philosophers. They say it is all accidental. And that is being ruled out by just one predicate used here, hetu. Heyahetuh. Hetu means purpose. Now this has been elaborated in Vyasa's commentary by a statement. Tayoho drukdarshan shaktyoho anadi arthakrita sanyogo heyahetu dukkhasya karanam iti arthaha. So, he clearly opens it out by saying that it is anadi. It is from type without beginning. It is anadi. It is arthakrita. That means it has a purpose. It is not nirarthaka. It is arthakrita. Nirarthaka means meaningless. So it is not meaningless, it is arthakrita, and it is sanyoga, and that is the heyahetu. That is the cause of heyam. The heyam being dukkham, it is dukkha. This is what the sutra is mentioning. So Vyasa opens out the sutra, which is just drashtru drushyoho sanyogo heyahetuh. So what is that? He opens out tayoho drukdarshan shaktyoho anadi arthakrita sanyogo heyahetu dukkhasya karanam iti arthaha. So druk shakti is Purusha and darshana shakti is the buddhi. Their samyoga, which is at the onset of creation, that is saprayojana. It is not nishprayojana. It is saprayojana, swaprayojaka, not nishprayojana, nishprayojaka. Now, how do you say it is prayojaka, prayojanam? When it is cause of dukkham, that means the prayojan should be is to torment us. Is it right? Is it right for all the archetypal mind to have this purpose in mind, that let me torment the creation, and to torment the creation let me create the conjunction? Then that doesn't sound well. We cannot expect the archetypal mind to be having such a purpose in mind, such a sadistic mentality in the mind, that let the creation come up and let the creation suffer. No. That is not the case here. So we will be told at some stage that this samyoga drashta dushya sanyoga or drugdarshan shakti samyoga. This samyoga is for two purposes. One is heya purpose, another is upadeya purpose. So it is giving you for both. If you have good in your life, you want such a life. If there is bad in life, you don't want such a life. But that doesn't mean you don't want life. Because if you are given life, you can get endowment and bounty of being lively or being in life. So it's not a solution to say that let me not be life at all, because if I get a life, I suffer. No, if you get a life, you get both. You get joy and you get sorrow as well. So you want joy. Nobody says, I don't want any joy and I don't want any sorrow. So usually our desire will be, I don't want sorrows, but I want joys. I don't want sorrows, but I want delights. I don't want sadness, but I want happiness. We don't say, I don't want sadness and therefore I don't want even happiness. That means you don't want to exist at all. If you are a lively person, if you are animate, you will have experience. If you have experience, it is either palatable or unpalatable. So, you want life and therefore you will have both. You will have to manage the life in a way that you will keep at bay what you don't want and you will only keep the gates and doors open for what you want. So this samyoga has taken place not for torment, although it is Heyahetu, it is also Sukhahetu, because that same conjunction is giving you happiness, delight and joy. If that conjunction is not there, then your existence and your entity is not there. You as entity don't exist. If you don't exist as entity, you will have neither pain nor sorrow, neither delight. You will have neither sorrow nor happiness and joy and delight. And you definitely expect one. Therefore you want existence. Then if you want existence, you will get delights if you have managed it well. If you have not managed it well, you will not get delights, but you will get sorrows. Or if you are not properly managed, you will get something which is delightful and something which is sorrowful. If it is badly managed, you will get more of sorrows, less of delights. If you have well managed it, more of delights and less of sorrows. But the conjunction is for both the purposes. That is to give you what you relish and expect and seek after, and consequently it will also make you face the pain. Like in the Tapa Dukkha, you should recall, money is something that gives us happiness. But the fact of the matter is, about money, aye dukkham, vyaye dukkham, dvigartham dukkha karanam. Money coming is a problem, money going is a problem. If money comes, how to secure it? Because if you have money, then maybe money could be stolen. There will be people having eyes on your money, and then you suffer. People will definitely have eyes on your money. If you have a lot of money, people will have eyes on you. Now you know what is the bane of having eyes on you. So you'll have to secure the money, preserve the money, grow the money, maintain the money is not easy. It has its own problems. Not having money is a problem. Having money is a problem. This is what is realized by a person who has really moved in a mundane world. He realizes, although at a very delayed point in time, he realizes, aye dukkham, vyaye dukkham, dvigartham Dukkha karanam. Money coming is a problem, going is a problem. In both ways, it is a problem. So, money has both endowments and banes, bounties and banes. So, you need your prudence to see that the bane will be minimized and the bounty will be maximized. The bane will not be felt significantly, but the bounty will be felt substantially. This is your prudence. You cannot be refusing money for that sake because it is problematic both ways. So similarly, this samyoga has come here for your hanam as well as the heyam, for your heyata and upadeyata, for you to have the desirable that you want to have, and of course, therefore, the undesirable also will come as a parasite. You need to manage as to how the undesirable will be kept at minimum. And that's why the samyoga is there in archetypal mind. It is not to torment the life, but to give the liveliness to life. And if you have liveliness, you are going to have pain, pleasure, sensations. You can't have an animation which only gives you pleasurable sensation and no painful sensation. You will perish. Your defense system will not be there. So you must have both. You must have pleasure sensation and pain sensation both, so that you will know what should come close to you and what should not come close to you. So that's the animation. Animation knows that, pros and cons, merits and demerits, advantages and disadvantages. The insentient do not know this. They don't need this. They don't have it either. But the sentient beings have it. So if you want sentiency, then you will have to accept both. And this conjunction is going to give you both. The conjunction can give you viveka khyati, and the same conjunction can give you bhoga. So you can't blame the conjunction. It is coming with both hands. One with bounty, the other one with banes. Now you should decide which hand to accept and which hand to reject. That is called viveka sadhana. And therefore, this all argument is also set aside that archetypal mind has not created the conjunction. Yes, you are not responsible for this conjunction because this is anadi. Before you came into existence, or whenever you came into existence, it was already there. So that is anadi in archetypal scheme. But archetypal mind wanted you to have both probabilities and wanted that you must choose the right one and then reject the other one. To accept and reject, you are given intelligence. You are given the motion and motivation for acceptance and rejection. So both bhoga, apavarga, both happen because of this. The samyoga. Samyoga is not whole and soul baneful. Bhoga, apavarga is both possible. It is giver of both. Bhogam, apavargam. So therefore that is the prayojanam. Either it will give you heya or upadeya. It is offering both. The heyata and upadeyata. You should know which to accept and which not to accept, or in which proportion to accept the both. So therefore there is no scope or no chance, no room for archetypal mind to be blamed behind this conjunction which is not created by you, but it is created by him, the creator. Anyway, so what is this kind of conjunction? Is again a point to be discussed. Now, between Purusha and Prakriti, If we think both are all pervasive, both are vibhu in philosophical argument, if we say that Purusha is vibhu, Prakriti is vibhu, the conjunction is inevitable. Because both are all pervasive. If both are all pervasive, that means the conjunction will be ever there. But it can be argued that there cannot be two principles which are all pervasive. But this is true in the realm of physics. You cannot have something physically manifesting which is all pervasive, so huge, gigantic, huge, prolific in dimensions, then there cannot be two such things in the universe. So one might be vibhu or one might be santa. One might be limited, other might be unlimited. But in any case, if there is one as unlimited and all pervasive, the conjunction is ever to be there. The conjunction is inevitable, unavoidable, unescapable. So then how is this the conjunction here between Prakriti and Purusha? If both are vibhu, conjunction is inevitable. If one is vibhu, other is not vibhu, one is all pervasive, the other one is not pervasive, then yet again the conjunction is going to be inevitable. What is this kind of samyoga? So we know the samyoga of two finite things, like two wrestlers coming together in a bout, and they are engaged, and one emerges victorious, other one comes vanquished or conquered. So what is this kind of conjunction? Is it a physical conjunction? So there are several kinds of conjunctions spoken of in philosophical system. Say when a bird sits on a tree, how does it sit on a tree? It sits on a small bark of a branch of a tree. When it sits on the tree, the bird and tree are conjoined. The bird and tree are connected, or there is samyoga between a bird which is so tiny and the huge tree on which there are branches, and one of the branches, the bark of it, the bird is sitting. So that's also called samyoga. The salt dissolving in water is also called samyoga. Sugar dissolving in milk is also called samyoga. So there are so many kinds of samyoga in the physical world. Now, what is the kind of samyoga here? Now, this is unique kind of samyoga because both are nominal. Both are nominal. So they don't have dimensions and sizes. Like in case of a two wrestlers, we know they are with dimensions and then they come together. Bird and tree both are having dimensions and then they come together. Now here both are nominal. They are not phenomenal. So therefore, from the physical perspective, we will not be able to conceive the samyoga. There is another dimension of samyoga, like akasha. The space is all pervasive. Then the space is touching every single thing in the universe. There is no thing in the universe which is untouched by space because it lives in space and the space is all pervasive. But that is called samana samyoga. That is called samana samyoga. So that is of the generic nature. Because the space happens to be all pervasive, therefore there is that conjunction or sanyoga with any object of the universe. And that really doesn't have also purpose. It is bound to be there. Element like space is going to be being its all pervasiveness, vibhutva, it is going to be touching every other thing. And every other thing will be touched by space. So that is samana sanyoga, but this is vishesha samyoga because there is arthavatva. It is not nishkarana, it is not nishprayojaka. Arthakrita sambandha, arthakrita, and therefore there is purpose. So this is anadi and this is also with purpose, arthakrita. Now here we have to understand these two components which are in conjunction, which are called drashta and drushya. How is this Purusha Tattva? The Purusha Tattva, as described by metaphysics, is asankramaka. Asankramaka means doesn't have its movement, motion, doesn't move. Akarta, non-doer. Udasina. So this is how the Sankhya describes Purusha Tattvam. And the Prakriti is jada, inert, achetana, insentient. It doesn't have its own purpose. So one is animate but doesn't move, doesn't have a purpose. The other one is inanimate and therefore doesn't move in one sense and also doesn't have purpose. Then how is it is possible that the two have conjunction? So the conjunction is because of that phenomenon, metapsychical phenomenon of bhasamanatva. Like, I repeat that example, illustration which has been oft-quoted, fire and iron ball. Iron ball is black, metallic, opaque. But when held in fire for a long time, it seems to be translucent. It is no longer opaque, but it is not even transparent, but it is translucent. Then it becomes fireball. It is no longer iron ball, it becomes fireball. So the proximity of the Purusha and Prakriti by way of Purusha and Buddhi-sattva, then this thing like iron ball becoming fireball, that's what happens here. It becomes bhasamana chaitanya, and then it has that for the purpose, it becomes purposeful and specific and typical. So, if this cosmological unfoldment is triggered by Ishvara, Ishvara can be put at blame for all this, for the Heyahetu. And therefore, what is spoken of in Upanishads, the Paramakarunyam, Paramanairgrunyam, that there is no cruelty and there is compassion in the God. How come that such an outcome is there, which is becoming the Heyahetu, the cause of our avoidable? So, that is being answered by Yoga Vartikar, Vijnana Bhikshu. He says, Sacha Sanyoga Vishesha Parameshwarasya Yogamaya Yogindraihi api achintya Shruti Smriti Gamya Na vishesha tarka gochara bhavati. So he says this is called yoga maya of Parameshwara. And then it cannot be even understood by yogis. Achintyam. For yogindrai even for yogindra, kings of yoga, the king of yogis. Yogindra means king of yogi. Not only the yogis will not understand, even the king amongst the yogis will not understand. It is achintya, it is unimaginable, but it is mentioned in Shruti and Smruti. It cannot be understood by plain logic. So that is the mysticism. We do not understand the archetypal mind. We are trying to find out solution of the archetypal deed or the deed of the archetypal creator, the mind. We are trying to understand it, comprehend it, and try to analyze it, investigate it, and assess it by our mortal intelligence, which is not done. So that is called mysticism, where the logic and reason is to be kept aside to really understand, conceive the mysticism. So, this is an aspect of mysticism as to what is this kind of samyoga, the why about samyoga, how about samyoga. This will not be understood by reasoning that is there in human mind, empirical mind. So that is something very intuitive, intuitively mystic. And therefore it is something samadhigamya, but then it cannot be explained. So the point is, the cause of this sorrow is there in that unimaginable, unthinkable union. And therefore, when that samyoga is over, there is that dukkha nivrutti. So the Heyahetu, drashta drushya samyoga rupa, Heyahetu, has been explained that way. Now, it is also mentioned here that there is a pariharam, there is a measure taken. So, what kind of measure is going to be there? This is also something that we need to understand as an aspect of orientation to this subject. So, let us consider that. What is this pariharam? Dukkha pariharam, the hanam, that is called hanam. Dukkha pariharam means hanam. What is that? How is this measure? How is this measure to be understood? So this is going to be the topic for our next session. So enough for the time being. Namaskar all of you.